There's no denying the fact that the Earth is a beautiful place. Humans have continued to add to the wonder by building miraculous things like massive monuments and sky-high bridges. Ever thought about what happens when these projects collapse to the ground? If yes, this is the video you won't want to miss. Today we'll be looking at all the ridiculously useless mega projects humanity spent millions of dollars on. So sit back and brace yourself. These mega projects are going to blow your mind and will have you wondering if the people envisioning them were in their sane minds. The advances in some promising ones were punctuated by political battles, while a specific group of people rejected others. If you want to know everything about the mega projects that failed miserably, watch the video till the very end. The visionary behind the highway would have received a lot of praise for this fantastic idea, for the location this masterpiece of a motorway is built on is breathtaking. Surrounded by spectacular mountains, one would want to take the wheel just to go for a long, therapeutic drive on this highway, even if it leads nowhere. Yup, you heard it right. The main idea behind the highway was to construct a direct route connecting the southern Pearl Harbor Naval Base to the Eastern Marine Corps Air Station, but since the highway doesn't have a direct route to Honolulu, it was deemed useless in terms of defense. The scheme was first brought to light in 1960, but it was met with a considerable backlash from environmental groups and Native Hawaiians. The construction of the highway required deforestation and urbanization at an immense scale. The development plans were put to a halt due to the environmental laws, but the visionaries weren't done. It took them 26 years to convince Congress to sanction permission finally. Talk about standing your ground, right? The highway was inaugurated in 1997 with a whopping total of $1.3 billion to its name. Despite such a huge budget, the highway remains useless for Native Hawaiians since many important cultural sites were destroyed in its making. The Hawaiians consider it an evil curse. Interstate H3 might be one of the most captivating roads on Earth, but its charm is lost on many Native groups, which is a shame. At least HC is still functioning. How about a multi-million-dollar project that was abandoned soon after its inauguration? There's no denying that Spain is one of the most popular vacation sites. The idea behind this airport sprang from this very fact. The authorities wanted to build an alternative to the overcrowded main airport in Madrid. With a capacity to serve 2 million people every year, the airport aimed to provide a hassle-free transport route to international visitors and travelers alike. It became functional in 2009, and things were looking good. The company had already filed for an expansion when out of nowhere in 2012, the owners went bankrupt. Pretty unexpected, right? We thought so too. Although it was justified since the location of the airport was somewhat unconventional, situated a couple of 100 kilometers away from downtown Madrid, the airport was not the first choice of people looking to board flights in a hurry. Nobody wants to travel 3 hours just to reach an airport, right? The airport was first turned into a small airline, but that wasn't working either, so the place was auctioned off for a mere $10,000. COVID came into the picture right around this time. The new owners put their thinking caps on and introduced the airport as a storage area for grounded planes. This rebranding gave the airport a chance to breathe again. Although the airport has proved to be of use one way or the other, it's safe to assume that it won't see passengers anytime soon. What a waste of $1 billion. Talking about waste, what about nuclear waste? Nuclear waste can be extremely dangerous when stored above the ground. In 1987, Nevada's Yucca Mountain caught the attention of authorities since it was located in close proximity to the major nuclear power plants. The mountain is covered with volcanic ash, which can absorb harmful radioactive radiation. Hence, the mountain was considered as the best possible option for depositing waste underground. The blueprints were approved, but the natives had other plans. They opposed the idea, saying that the nuclear waste would contaminate the water source being used by thousands of residents for decades. The project saw many ups and downs over the years until it was deemed unworkable by Obama in 2010. This project is one for the books. $100 billion has been set aside for this futuristic city, and it's supposed to be functional by 2035. From houses covered with green rooftops to exceptional gardens, this smart city will have everything that's needed to live a peaceful life. Why is the project not soaring to new heights then? The reason is the Chinese. China is the leading investor of the project, and it only makes sense that their people come and buy houses here, right? By 2018, the Chinese purchased 80% of the apartments, leaving little to no room for Malaysians whatsoever. The public started to deem this project a way of colonizing Malaysia. Mahathir Mohamad, seeing this, jumped in and sanctioned a bill that prohibited foreigners from buying property in Forest City. Things were starting to look up when the pandemic struck. Existing investors backed out, and international investors could not buy apartments because of the ban. Only 500 people were recorded to occupy the residential flats at the beginning of 2020. Quite unfortunate for a project as big as this, don't you think? The Oroville Dam provides a major site for water storage and power generation for the residents of California. The dam was busy being of tremendous use when in 2017, California witnessed its wettest winter ever. The spillways were damaged by the torrential rain. After a proper inspection, the main spillway was opened 2 days later with the promise of things being normal. But the universe had other plans. On February 12th, water overflowed the emergency spillway. Not only did the water cause considerable erosion, but also posed a threat of possible flooding in the nearby communities. The officials gave orders to evacuate the native lands, and a total of 188,000 people had to leave their homes. The water levels dropped in the next few days by sheer luck. A total of $1 billion were spent on this atrocity, and though this amount seems nothing compared to human lives, it's still a pretty significant financial loss. Changing a country's capital isn't surprising, but building a new capital from scratch? I know it sounds terrifying. It turns out the overly ambitious leaders in Myanmar thought that they could achieve this impossible feat. The project was announced in November 2005. The reason for the shift of capitals from Yangon to Naypyidaw wasn't apparent. The project continued to expand, but the developers paid no particular attention to including health facilities in the city's infrastructure, so naturally, people didn't want to live there. The highways present a deserted look, and that's why the city has been named Ghost Town. You can pay it a visit if you want to stay away from humans for a while. Otherwise, there's not much to see here. The catastrophe brought forth by the negligence in the construction of this dam can never be forgotten. Aiming to provide a storage reservoir for the city, this curved dam was built keeping the city's aqueduct infrastructure in mind. The construction was completed in 1926, but it wasn't all smooth sailing for this one, as you might have expected. From seepage to cracks, the dam started showing signs of incompetence soon after. The authorities didn't ask for proper repair, which led to the dam walls completely collapsing on March 12, 1928. 400 people lost their lives, and countless others were injured. Critics believe that this terrible event could have been prevented if attention had been drawn to its unstable foundation. The onus lies on the engineer for not making sure that everything was foolproof. There you have it, folks. Scroll down below and give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you've subscribed to the channel, and the bell icon is right there, so press it to receive regular updates. See you next time. Adios.